Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, with all the uproar over TSA scanners, the mayor goes through one to prove we shouldn't have any problem doing the same. But if you don't want people seeing everything you have to offer, the alternative is even worse. Past this, Prop 19 didn't go through, so now the city council is cracking down on medical marijuana again. Or are they? Change could be coming soon. And it's all in the cards. What do you do if a political race is dead even? Shuffle up and deal. All the stories people are talking about and everything you need to know right now on The Filter. Hello again. Off the top, it's The Filter Forefront, our top four of the day, including Bag It, Dano. But we begin with this. So you're walking down the street. Somebody comes up to you and sticks their hands on the inside of your thighs. What would you do? Assuming you wouldn't smile, wink, and ask for more, I think you'd be upset. What would you do if somebody did that to you at the airport? Thanksgiving is 3 days away, and security measures have been increased at all airports. By random selection, you may be asked to walk through that giant scanner, which offers up a look at all of your equipment. The mayor showed he's on board and stepped into one today.
I'm calling on the public to understand that the reality of these times requires higher levels of security to keep everyone safe. These AIT scanners are the quickest, most efficient means to check people for concealed threats.
If you're the shy type, you could opt for the old pat down, but then if the thought of having someone rub the inside of your thighs is not appealing, you can cancel your flight and leave the airport. Our contributors tonight, Doctor of Social Ethics Charlotte Laws and the editor of Turner's Two Cents, Cameron Turner. Our pictures are furnished by Skype. Cameron, I'll start with you. These measures do seem extreme, but are they necessary at this time?
Well, you know, Fred, it was just a little over a year ago. It was last Christmas that a man tried to board an airliner with explosives contained inside his underwear. So, these measures, while they do seem intrusive, I think they're justified. But for me, there's a much bigger picture that we all need to be looking at, and that is our overall approach to combating the threat of terrorism. It is high time that we recognize, that we acknowledge that these ground wars that we've been fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan have not significantly reduced the danger of terrorist attack. You know, Al-Qaeda doesn't operate simply in one geographical region or another. They're worldwide. We've got terrorist sympathizers operating within the United States. So our focus really ought to be as a nation on the intelligence and the intelligence gathering and law enforcement side of this whole issue. That includes airport security. I think the full body scanner is legitimate. The pat down, that's pretty extreme, and I hope I'm never asked to do that. It's certainly not something I would want to do. But generally speaking, I see the validity of these measures. But I think as a nation, we've got to look at the bigger picture.
Charlotte, what do you think? You want to get patted down?
Absolutely not. I think I've heard a prison guard called into talk radio the other day and said that even the inmates in prison can't be groped the way that passengers are being groped at the airports now. But my biggest concern has to do with the radiation from the scanners, which apparently your chance of getting cancer is as great as being blown up by a terrorist on a plane. And plus, experts say that they're very concerned that the levels of radiation that the government is telling us are there is actually not correct, because the imaging is so detailed that they believe the radiation must be higher. And also the fact that the scanner could malfunction and there could be greater radiation put out there. So to me, I'm very, very scared of the radiation. I would definitely choose the groping over the radiation, but I don't think the groping is appropriate. I agree that intelligence should be the focus and that kind of thing, but they shouldn't be doing this to passengers.
All right, well, they've got to do something to keep people safe. Let's go on. Do you think you should pay for people who are in the country illegally to go to college? Should you pay for illegal immigrants to go to college? Well, you already do. It costs taxpayers more than $200 million a year. Illegal immigrants who graduated from state high schools can receive in-state tuition at California's public universities and colleges. So, for example, here, University of California saves the student $23,000 a year. That means you are paying the $23,000. California Supreme Court said, according to state law, that's legal. Federal law sees it differently. In that book, undocumented immigrants are not allowed college benefits based on residency. So basically, if you're not here legally, you don't get the benefits of being a citizen. In the meantime, tuition has gone up for state institutions, and some kids who are here legally may have to drop some classes because they can't afford it. Should taxpayers pay for people who are not here legally? They are not legal citizens, while legal citizens are having trouble affording college, Charlotte.
We absolutely should not be paying for the illegals. There is the financial reason, of course, which we have these huge deficits, $25 billion deficit in the state of California, and families can't even afford to put their own kids in college. And as you said, kids are dropping classes or taking fewer classes or dropping out altogether because they can't afford college. There's also the fairness issue where an illegal is taking a slot potentially for someone who's in the country legally. And that just simply isn't fair. And then there's also encouraging illegals to come to this country, which is what you're doing. When you give them benefits, that's what's happening. It's odd to me that the federal government is saying that, they have their policy, which is you should not be granting the in-state tuition to illegals. And I wonder if they're going to come out and say something to the effect that, federal law trumps state law, because they were very vocal when it came to Arizona putting their law into place with regards to illegal immigration. So I think that if they don't, I think it's hypocrisy, and I think that we just can't afford it, and we should not be encouraging illegal behavior.
Cameron, do you see this the same way?
Well, I think that if there's a conflict here between state and federal law, that needs to be hashed out in the courts. I don't think the comparison to the Arizona law fits. I don't think that there's a hypocrisy on the part of the federal government. In Arizona, you had a situation where a law was actually going in and really violating the civil rights of people. That's where the issue there was.
What about this?
Well, I think first of all, I think it's a bit misleading to continually say citizens are having to consider dropping out of college while undocumented students remain. I mean, of course, undocumented students are facing the same threat. In fact, probably there are more students who are undocumented who are looking at the possibility of having to drop out because of the rate hikes than citizen students.
But wouldn't it be safe to say if they had not received in-state tuition in the first place, they wouldn't be there? While if other students had received in-state tuition, they would?
Well, I mean, who's to say about individual circumstances? I think the larger...
You just brought it up.
Issue, well, I think the issue for me is that we as a state ought to be doing everything we can to keep students in college. If you've got kids who have worked hard all the way through elementary, high school, and have now gotten admitted to college and who are in there, who are committed, who are dedicated, who are developing skills and education, which will help this economy grow and will build this state,
right.
We need to support that effort.
Okay, so what you're saying, just so I understand, you are saying it is more important to pay for an illegal immigrant to be in a state college rather than allow a legal citizen to be able to afford to go to state college.
I did not say that.
Then what are you saying? Well, what are you saying, Cameron?
I'm saying quite simply.
Because wait, you can't have it both ways. Pick.
You're setting up a false equation. That is not what I said at all.
What'd you say?
My point. Well, I'd like to give me a moment. I'll make it very plain. My point is simply, number one, the general issue of undocumented students in our universities and colleges. I am in favor of making sure those students can continue their education because I think that we as a state will benefit when they graduate. It is to our advantage to have those kids educated and ready to get out there and contribute to this economy. They are, for the most part, this idea that they were lured here. No, because what we're talking about are kids who came here as little kids, brought by their parents, worked their way through school.
What about the kids that are citizens here? What about the kids? We got to wrap this up. What about the kids that are citizens here? Bottom line, should they be given priority? Yes or no?
The bottom line is we have got to make college affordable and accessible to all of our young people.
He doesn't want to answer your question, Fred.
Okay, here we go.
Maybe I missed the question. I don't think it's a choice between illegal versus illegal. That is a false question.
We have deficits like we do.
Cameron, all I'm asking with all due respect, do you think we should put legal citizens, kids that grew up in the United States and live in California, should they have first priority over those who are here illegally? Yes or no?
First priority, as you're saying that citizenship, should that be a requirement for admission?
That should trump when you are considering having in-state tuition. That's what I'm saying.
In-state tuition is based on residency, not on citizenship. That's what the state law says.
But not the federal law. Okay, let's move on.
Well, the federal law and state law have to be resolved in court. That was my original point.
Okay, let's go. If we're being completely honest here, our state is a mess. Well, I think you just understood that, given our conversation. California's a financial disaster. People are out of work. Time for our elected officials to make some tough decisions. Time to focus on what's really important right now. The LA Board of Supervisors has made a decision. No more plastic bags. Recently, supervisors voted 3-1 to ban plastic grocery bags in unincorporated areas of the county. shouldn't be much of a problem since people don't have money to buy food. Zev Yaroslavsky said plastic bags are a pollutant. If grocers offer plastic bags, they must sell them for 10 cents each. Money collected will be used to pay for paper bags. Supervisor Mike Antonovich, who voted no, said at a time of economic uncertainty with a large number of businesses leaving our state and community, this would not be an appropriate time to impose this additional regulation. Is this really the time to bag the plastic and go paper only, Cameron?
No, I think this is a pointless measure. I mean, the plastic bags came in because the paper bags were considered too expensive. This was supposed to be a low-cost alternative. At this point, 20-some years into the game, we ought to have some vigorous recycling around the country so that we're not faced with this problem. But no, this to me is something that there was no point for the County Board of Supervisors to even raise this. It's a non-issue. It's not really going to save us that much money, and it's a waste of time.
Charlotte?
Boy, I disagree with you a lot today, Cameron. I agree with passing this. I really do. I mean, it's an environmental issue. We're not talking about economic. We're talking about environment.
Oh, Charlotte.
25% of the people in this world live in an area where plastic bags are banned, where you have to pay for them. And if you look at the trash, 120,000 tons of bags a year, and of plastic bags, and only 5% are recycled. Plus, Fred, we spend $25 million in California picking up and cleaning up these bags.
All right. So see, Cameron, let me just tell you something. See, this time I'm with you. This time I'm on your side. Because, Charlotte, come on. With everything
I think the reusable bags.
Charlotte, please.
Well, Charlotte's making some valid points. I can't say I totally disagree with everything she's saying.
And I'm not going to disagree. The second most common piece of trash on a beach is plastic bags. So it is an issue, and people should be encouraged to get the reusable bags. They should make some kind of law or something regarding the lead that they're getting in reusable bags.
Charlotte, you're giving me heartburn. Listen, I understand. I get it. I know the plastic bags is a critical issue right now. Believe me. Don't we have more important things to worry about right now? Isn't that the problem here? We're worrying about plastic bags. People aren't eating. What do you want them to do? Eat the bags? Doesn't the County Board of Supervisors have something more important to do right now than worry about the bags?
It's not going to hinder people eating. It's not an either or, as Cameron would say.
We got to get people jobs.
It's really not. People in the state care about the environment, and this is an environmental issue. It's not going to take away jobs.
Okay. Well, it's not going to create jobs. That's
we should put a
recycling.
If we had statewide recycling, a lot of jobs would get created and this problem would be addressed. And that's what should have happened in the 80s.
I got a convert.
Wow. You folded like a house of cards, Cameron. Wow. I mean, come on. All right, you guys, nice job. I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.